Welcome to Edit Dog Ethereum. We at hope that y'all enjoy the videos that I put together. I hope that
First, Zenithari, energy beings, glowing orbs of shifting light immune to physical harm. They manipulate electromagnetic fields and communicate through flashes, philosophical explorers from a star-like homeworld. Crinthans, reptilian titans, massive humanoid reptiles with reflective black scales. Resilient and strong, they thrive in extreme conditions. Builders and warriors from an aquatic world of ocean cities. 3. Mycarans, fungal collective, regenerating fungal organisms that form humanoid shapes or sprawling colonies. They communicate telepathically via spores and restore ecosystems, collective thinkers from a dark forested planet. Carvians, insectoid artists, beetle-like beings with iridescent carapaces and melodic wings, exceptional artists and musicians, valuing beauty above all. Native to a tropical world of colossal flowers. 5. Lumivians, jelly-like beings, small, glowing, semi-transparent blobs. They heal and stabilize life rhythms, promoting peaceful coexistence. From a misty planet with bioluminescent seas.
check them out. Please.
Andromedans.
Andromeda.
The Andromedan Council has ordered all extraterrestrial presences on the planet, in the planet, and on the moon to be completely out of our space. They want everything that's CT, benevolent or not, off the planet. This will be very interesting since there are over 1,833 reptilians living in our planet and over 18,000 greys living underground and on the moon. The Council would like to see how we will live with each other when we are not being manipulated by ETs, as we have been for the last 5,723 years.
Top 10 types of aliens. Number 1 Greys. Number 2 Reptilians. Number 3 Nordics. Number 4 Insectoids. Number 5 Tall Whites. Number 6 the Zeta Reticuli. Number 7 Energy Beings. Number 8 Trolls. Number 9 Anunnaki. Number 10 Vulcans.
They clean too.
These are some of the alleged extraterrestrial species that have visited our planet. First up, we have the most widely known of the alien races, the Greys. Usually depicted as green, the Greys can be different heights and are apparently from the Zeta Reticuli system. The Greys are the alleged beings that abducted Betty and Barney Hill and the aliens that crashed in Roswell. And of course, Skinny Bob. Next we have the Mantis or the Insectoid type aliens. Not much is known about them, but they have been seen alongside Greys and reptilians during medical experiments, and they communicate through telepathy. Next we have everybody's least favorite, the lizard people. With reports of lizard people dating all the way back to ancient Egypt, apparently these beings can shapeshift, and are apparently trying to take over the world. Next we have Nordics, who are apparently ancient humans that live in Inner-Earth. They kinda remind me of elves from Lord of the Rings. The Men in Black, who are allegedly genetic hybrids of both humans and aliens that are always there to clean up the mess after an encounter. Those are just to name a few, and the question is,
are they really here?
Let's delve into the concept of the Galactic Federation. According to various theories and beliefs, the Galactic Federation is an alliance of extraterrestrial civilizations working together for the greater good of the cosmos. Some claim it serves as a cosmic United Nations, fostering cooperation and understanding among diverse species. Our first celestial neighbors are the Pleiadians, often described as beings of light hailing from the Pleiades star cluster. Believed to be spiritually evolved, they are said to assist Earth in its spiritual awakening, guiding humanity toward higher consciousness and enlightenment. Now let's explore the intriguing laws of the reptilians. Some sources claim these beings have reptile-like features and come from the constellation Draco. Perspectives on them vary, with some portraying them as benevolent protectors, while others suggest a more cautionary stance, viewing them as potential infiltrators. Next on our extraterrestrial journey are the Greys, often depicted with their distinct large heads and almond-shaped eyes. Believed to be prolific cosmic researchers, the Greys are thought to engage in genetic experimentation and scientific endeavors, interacting with humans to further their cosmic knowledge. Venturing deeper into the cosmos, we encounter the Arcturians, beings associated with the Arcturus star system. Revered for their advanced spiritual wisdom, the Arcturians are believed to act as guardians, guiding civilizations toward enlightenment and harmony. Among the cosmic tapestry are the Sirians, believed to originate from the Sirius star system. These beings are often portrayed as bridge builders, fostering communication and unity among civilizations. Some even claim they played a role in the early development of Earth's ancient cultures. Now, let's gaze towards the Andromeda Galaxy, home to the Andromedans. Regarded as cosmic ambassadors, they are said to work closely with the Galactic Federation, fostering diplomacy and understanding among the diverse inhabitants of the cosmos. As we explore the diversity of extraterrestrial life, it's essential to highlight the unifying purpose of the Galactic Federation, a commitment to fostering peace, spiritual growth, and cosmic harmony. Regardless of their differences, these beings work together for the betterment of the entire galactic community.
Work together.
Ten secret aliens they don't want you to know. Number 3, the Tall Whites. They don't invade. They walk through military bases with clearance. They're called the Tall Whites, up to 9 feet tall, skin pale and almost glowing, no hair, eyes large icy blue, no visible pupils. They move slow, controlled, never speak directly. When they do it telepathic. They've been seen near military bases since the 1950s. Not observed, escorted. They negotiate. According to whistleblower Charles Hall, they live underground, age slowly, up to 800 years, and communicate only with high-level military. Their ships are tall, glowing white, and emit violet light. They're not visitors, they're residents, and they're still here. Comment below if you think they're still walking through classified halls. 10 secret alien races they don't want you to know. Number 9, the Ebens. If they show up, it means you've already been chosen. Tall, pale blue skin, jet black eyes. They don't speak. They don't blink. They just watch. They're called the Eben, and if you've ever lost time, hours vanished without reason. You should be scared, very scared. People wake up with symbols burned into their skin. They say the room was cold, metal, silent, no pain, just a presence, like being dissected by God. The Eben aren't explorers, they're engineers, creating hybrids, testing emotions, rewriting what it means to be human. No one remembers the moment they arrived, only the feeling they leave behind. Empty. Comment hybrid if you've ever woken up feeling not quite like yourself.
If you realize, was supposedly promoting blonde hair and blue eyes, but he didn't even have blonde hair and blue eyes. And the majority of the people that were German didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. Where'd that come from? It was about the Aryan race, the people that he did tap into, that he did come across, this particular one race of people that may be still down there, with all the bases that are surrounding them. For every country in the world, for every continent is surrounding that place right now. Go to Google Earth and look down. Even the Rockefeller Foundation has a base there. Okay.
This is in Antarctica.
In Antarctica, there's 77 research bases around this opening that's about 35 meters wide in Antarctica. That's public record. Anybody can look it up. There's no war allowed there. There's no battling allowed there. There's no fighting allowed there for any of these companies. Everybody is in collusion with each other, and they're doing research around this 35-meter opening. You have these people that live in Antarctica, in my opinion, still probably there under the earth in these gigantic caverns, not hollow, completely hollowed out, but caverns underneath the surface that probably can hold, millions of people. I think that's where the Nazis went to Antarctica and found this root race people there, maybe like these pre-Adamite type people, and got technology from them. They were called the Aryans, and that also is what? Some of the people in ancient texts that came from the Pleiades. The Aryans offered them technology in exchange for helping them rise back to power and take over the planet, and they would give this reign. Okay, and I think this is where Nazi went, and the evidence of that is we had Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd went down there, U.S. Navy, took all these ships down there, and got beat by the Nazis down there by these things called Foo Fighters and these flying discs. And he went on a public display, and he said that we have a new enemy, one that could fly from pole to pole at amazing speeds. So we're talking about these Haunebu craft that had the technology that had been given to them by these Aryan people. That's just one race example. So there's many root races and there's many colors of these root races. You had blue, you had green, you had white, you had black, and you had red. These are all the different colors of these root races that existed on this planet, especially even the Lemurians, which that continent sank, or those islands sank off the continent of Australia. So and this is all information that people can go into. And can you say 1,000% it's 100% accurate? Because, somebody else is telling the story. But people back then had to work on, what are we going to eat? Well, how are we going to survive? What are we going to do? What orders are we going to take? It was not one of those relaxed atmospheres like we have now in the 21st century, where you can just sit back and say, I'm going to write me a novel about space beings. Back then, people were scribes who wrote these extensive works of art, and they were told, they were taking notes from somebody else speaking, quote unquote, one of the gods or the leaders or the rulers. They would take the notes, or they sometimes, if they were the head of an area or the head of a tribe, they would then have their scribe take the notes of what they have witnessed or saw. So to me, a lot of this has credence, and I think a lot of it's very, very accurate. When you look into Homer's Iliad, and even the modern day Bible talks about the 7 sisters and says that the people in the future, far in the future, will not even know who we were, referencing the 7 sisters and the Galactic War. In the modern day Bible, that's actually in there. So for people who follow that. So it's so much of this root race information exists, but it's been overlooked and it's been stepped on and it's been ignored just because it sounds too outlandish and too far-fetched. When in true reality, Homo sapiens sapiens, which is us, we're like the new kids on the block. We just literally arrived here. There's been people living and still are people living all over this universe by the Google's amount. And Google is a number. The name Google is not a name of a search engine. That's the number they took because it can do Googles of searches. Google's is a number with a lot of zeros in the back.
There are 36 alien races in Milky Way, and humans are composite of 22 different ET races. There are hypotheses that other intelligent entities exist in our solar system. There are at least 22 billion aliens in the solar system, according to Scottish scientist Thomas Dick in 1837. There are other reports of artificial constructions throughout the solar system. The Great Moon Hoax is a narrative published in the New York Sun in 1835 by astronomer John Herschel claiming to have discovered life on the Moon. It says Herschel built a 42,000x telescope. He pointed to the Moon and saw enormous creatures and humans. Dr. Nolan discussed UFOs, alien civilizations, crashed materials, and UFO possession in a podcast. Aliens in communication with. Former Apollo astronaut Al Worden emphasized this. We are the aliens, not them. We arrived from somewhere else, because someone else had to survive, and they flew here, landed, and created civilization here. If you don't believe me, read some ancient Sumerian writings. The CIA declassified about 12 million pages of information in 2017, disclosing previously unknown details regarding the Stargate project. In one CIA experiment, the project's most famous medium, Joseph McMoneagle, was given an astral flight to Mars approximately 1 million BC in 1984. He did witness the Red Planet's ancient civilization. John Lear, a late CIA pilot, told a similar experience. Lear mentioned a huge UFO purportedly following a cargo plane over Anchorage, Alaska, in July 1987, and UFOs hovering over Strategic Air Command stations in 1975. In an interview on Kloss TV in 1987, investigative journalist George Knapp asked Lear about the Church's position of UFOs. The problem is not just that there are 5 to 10 different civilizations visiting us, Lear stated at one point. According to my analysis, at least 90% of them are unfriendly. They have an entirely different set of morals than we do. During an interview with Coast to Coast AM radio, Lear made several controversial claims. An extraterrestrial dubbed Ebb-3, who helped the U.S. government create spaceships with alien technology, crashed in 1953, he said. Later, in 1962, a craft designed to take visitors to the Moon in 60 minutes was created. NASA first visited Mars in 1966. Also, humans adapted to the thin atmosphere. He said NASA dispatched men to Mars 1966. Lear also imagined astronauts planned this expedition for a long period. They gave patients Martian weather adjustment drugs. This would allow NASA to land humans on Mars for longer. Another example reveals our roots. Collier claimed to have had 30 years of communication with Andromeda-based aliens. He says he met Andromedans in 1964 and been in touch with them since 1985. In 1993, he began attending public seminars to share the aliens' findings. Also in 1997 he was threatened. Finally in 2002 Collier revealed in his final UFO lecture, that aliens known as the Founders developed habitable planets. The Pleiadians and Andromedans called them PAA Tall. Alien life.
There are 6 main known species of aliens. Reptilians are mysterious humanoid beings with scaly green skin, piercing slit pupil eyes, and sharp angular features. Known for their cunning intelligence, they are often depicted as master manipulators, secretly influencing human societies. Legends claim they operate from the shadows, pulling the strings of global power. Some believe their advanced technology and psychic abilities give them control over major world events. Originating from a distant star system, reptilians are said to possess shape-shifting powers, allowing them to blend seamlessly into human populations. This ability fuels theories that they disguise themselves as world leaders and celebrities. Ancient texts and modern conspiracies suggest they've been present on Earth for centuries, subtly guiding human evolution. Their motives remain unclear, sparking endless fascination and fear about their true purpose.
They are all genetic, manipulated half-breeds of the original Seeker race. They stand 18 to 25 feet tall and can weigh up to 2,500 pounds. They're like Tyrannosaurus Rexes. You know, they're monsters. Up to 2,500 pounds. They have black, leathery brown scaled bellies. They have multiple abdomens. They have whiskers along their chin and jawline. They had a mating claw and multiple tongues. I'm going to give you some very specific information. A mating claw. Honey, Robin, you need a mating claw. Well, we'll find somebody that's got a mating claw. And multiple tongues. Okay? They lay eggs. And what is called a battle hormone is used to accelerate the birthing process. Yes. They are a duality. This is why androgynic females did not participate in war. It's because if they did, there wouldn't be anybody there to help with the eggs. Okay? They also have to be there to secrete this hormone. Okay? I'm only sharing with you what I know about them, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of questions. Okay. Did not participate in war. Stronger young females were expected to defeat and kill older and weaker leaders in ritual combat. The Seeker race is ruled and managed by genetic lines, genetic lineage. And genetic lineage always follows the mother, because you always know who the mother is. You don't always know who the father is. Okay? So, you know, in that particular line, the gals have all the same. Ruled by a monarchy of a queen genetic lineage, they are one of the most powerful races in the galaxy. They have some of the greatest military might that has ever been seen in the galaxy. And most of the clan members are zealots and will do anything for the glory of their clans, of their lineage. They have been the chief enemy of all human races in this galaxy in past conflicts. Again, we're talking about hydrogen breathers versus oxygen breathers. They have 3 spinal columns. One spine is located ventrally near the stomach. The other 2 are located dorsally on the left and on the right of the Seeker's body. The spinal columns join near the dorsal of the geometric center at the extreme posterior of the trunk to form a long and very powerful tail. Inside of the hands or claws of the Seeker are jelly-like sacs that excrete various hormones and substances when the Seeker is aroused, either for sex or for battle. The primary purpose of these enzymes is to initiate encrusting of sperm. Okay. Hey, there is an amazing amount of life out there, and they look at us and they think we're beasts as well. Honestly. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about the Lyrans. Now, when I'm talking about the Lyrans, and then I'm going to talk about the human race as a whole, about some other things here. I've got some pretty good notes. I'm also talking about us, okay, and our ancestors, and all the ancestors of the ancient Lyran line, genetic line. Okay, now before I even get to that, I'm going to read the first sentence that I have on humans. The human race is unusual in having all of its members' race derived from one genetic line. Okay? That's an amazing thing. That is an amazing thing. Okay, so now let's talk about the Lyrans, and then we'll talk about humans some more. Okay, we'll talk about the Lyrans. Their skin color is
10 secret alien races they don't want you to know. Number 6, the Alux. Small, yes, but never innocent. They call them goblins, but they don't bring luck. They bring warnings. You only see them if they allow it. And if you see them, you're close to breaking a rule. They are ancient, older than corn, older than fear. They speak in whistles. They leave no footprints and vanish the moment you blink. No one knows where they come from, but they always appear near something that was never meant to be touched. Some build altars to please them. Others leave offerings in the soil, because ignoring them is how people disappear. In jungles, in hills, in caves sealed with cursed stones, they wait. And if you hear them laughing, don't laugh back.
So apparently we have 69 different alien species. These are just
catalog 69 different species, different life forms. There's one species that at full adulthood is about 1.5 feet. There's another species that's 10 or 12 feet. The ones that people often refer to are around 3 to 4 feet, 39 inches or so tall. We have very good forensic drawings from men who've been on the retrieval teams of what these various species look like. The reason they keep coming back, number one, it's not a coincidence that the modern era of all this started when we started detonating atomic bombs. What Edward Teller and Oppenheimer didn't understand when they were developing that is that when you detonate an atomic bomb, you get, everybody knows about an electromagnetic pulse. The pulse that goes out knocks out all electronic communication. What people didn't know about is there's also a pulse of what's called scalar energy. And scalar is faster than the speed of light.
10 alien races that live in secret beneath the earth. Number 6, the Hollow Ones. The Hollow Ones are pale humanoids said to inhabit the deepest cave systems on Earth. They look like us, but they never came from the surface. Inside Earth's deepest unexplored cave systems, far below where light can reach, explorers have reported pale, silent figures watching from the dark. They're called the Hollow Ones. Tall, slender, white, almost translucent skin. No hair, eyes large and silver gray. Built for total darkness. They don't speak. They don't run. They observe. Cave divers who've seen them say the same thing. They weren't surprised to see us, as if they've been waiting. Some claim their tunnels connect continents. Others say they've never once come to the surface. Whatever they are, they're not lost tribes. They're something else. Comment hollow if you believe there are eyes watching from below. 10 secret alien races they don't want you to know. Number 7, the Red Giants. They weren't human, but they remember who was. They stood 12 feet tall, eyes like burning coal, hair the color of war. They didn't speak. They roared like thunder, and bones shattered at the sound. The ancients called them gods, then begged them to die. It took entire nations to bring one down. And even then, it kept breathing. They ate flesh, drank blood, and laughed while doing it. When they fell, the ground cracked for miles. Some say one survived. Deep beneath Kandahar, the cave is sealed now. Not to protect us, but to protect it. And if it ever wakes up again, we won't get a second chance. Comment awaken if you believe giants never died. They were buried.
The Centaurians, a humanoid super race, originate from the Centaurian star system located 131 light-years away from Earth. The journey to the Centaurian system takes approximately 4.2 or 42 light-years, depending on the speed of one spacecraft. These advanced beings trace their lineage back 90 billion years when they emerged as an enhanced species combining the genetic traits of Deniers, Nubans, Olmec, and Maya from Amexem. Long ago, they migrated from the planet Saturn in the Milky Way galaxy to their current home, Centauri 4, within the Alpha Centauri star system. Centaurians possess dark skin, wool-like hair, and a robust muscular build. Their distinctive green glowing eyes and green blood, which contains crystals, set them apart. They range in height from 6 to 9 feet and can weigh up to a solid 300 pounds due to their formidable muscle mass. Their brain and cranium sizes slightly exceed those of Earth humans. The Centaurians share a connection with Africa on Earth, and their culture has developed over billions of years, leading to the division of their people into two sects based on religious beliefs. The first sect, known as the Habitu, follows the circle of life, a sacred path that emphasizes a sense of oneness with the deity Anu. The second sect, called the Akun, consists of those without faith. The Centaurians communicate through a language system similar to Arabic and possess telepathic abilities. They can access up to 50% of their brain capacity, allowing them to utilize their 5 heightened senses and exhibit telekinetic powers, enabling them to lift objects of unlimited weight through their minds. Physical fitness and exercise are deeply ingrained in Centaurian culture, with everyone in their race maintaining a muscular physique. It is noteworthy that there are individuals on Earth who possess similar traits, many of whom are descendants of Centaurians. Additionally, the Centaurians are considered the ancestral race of the Psionians. A group within the Centaurians known as the Akun broke off and journeyed to the Rigel star system, where a civil war erupted, resulting in the use of nuclear-style weapons and causing the remaining Centaurians to suffer from acute radiation syndrome. The faction that departed became known as the Psionians, eventually intermixing with the Hindu population in their new home.
There is a Polynesian-looking group. I think we're going to find very few of these extraterrestrials are Caucasian or blonde-haired, blue-eyed, like a lot of people depict. Many of our cosmic cousins from the local 52 star cluster are people of color. And when we get to a point to our cosmic cousins actually visiting and integrating with us, we are going to be forced to deal with some of our petty racist programming here on our planet.
Find what you're calling black or Nubian, dark-skinned extraterrestrials existed over the galaxy. Keep in mind the Olmecs were being abducted, and the Mayans and the Twa and the Bantu and the Afar people and the different tribes, dark Nubian tribes all over the planet, different species were being abducted. Different species were being picked specifically by the Anunnakis and other species to be taken to other planets. Some of them were given advanced technology, right? So there's Nubians that populate the galaxy, at least 70% And keep in mind, not all of them look humanoid. Not all the Nubian extraterrestrials look humanoid. Right? A lot of them, for the most part, look humanoid, and they originate from Earth or Key. Right? Because there were different calamities on the Earth where the planet was destroyed and beings were abducted and taken to other star systems. Keep in mind, like we said, Nubian extraterrestrials populate the galaxy. Right? These are the Natharus, right? We're gonna be doing a whole tape on the Natharu and the Natharu children, right? And what we all about. And about this green light movement that we've been doing, right? Keep in mind, like I say, a lot of Nubians have been abducted from the planet and taken to different star systems, right? And given advanced technology. Some of them have ascended.
10 alien races that live in secret beneath the earth. Number 5, the ancient builders. Deep beneath Earth's surface, across South America, Egypt, and Asia, there are structures older than any recorded civilization. No carvings, no symbols, no language. And they call them the ancient builders, between 9 and 11 feet tall, elongated skulls, smooth gray blue skin, 6 fingers on each hand, eyes large and dark, adapted to shadow. Not quite human, not alien either. Some believe they went underground before the last global reset to survive what wiped the others out. The tunnels they left stretch for miles and many are still sealed. Comment builder if you believe we were never the first ones here. What do you think? Do you believe ancient people survive underground?
All right, so we did encounter a Canis major species, like dog people. So they about 5.5 feet tall, were sort of a charcoal gray robe with kind of a red fringe on it. Well bathed, well manicured, very clean. But if you've ever heard a husky talk, they don't bark. They're okay. Well, that's how they talk. So they talk like dog people, and their racial background and sort of mixing in their own world meant that they kind of had some distinctive racial groups that we would consider like breed groups. So if I were to say there was a member of the ambassadorial team that was sort of German Shepherd-like, sort of sheepdog-like, I want to emphasize that that's not exactly like, but that's the most similar thing that I could describe. So it was very interesting to be sitting across the table with dog people. But one of the things I found the most fascinating about them is they were deeply fascinated by us because we have canines as pets. And they felt that that was a very interesting dynamic relationship that we had with them. But interestingly enough, they have pet primates. So,
I was gonna say, do they have human pets?
Well, they're primates, so like a monkey or a marmoset, kind of a thing. And so we kind of had this conversation about this inverse metaphysical, relationship between our species. And so they felt very friendly towards us for that reason, and we kind of had the same, feeling towards them. So it was a very positive interaction, and it definitely, of all my experiences, that one really sticks out for sure. They were really very pleasant to hang out with, and really smart, and yeah, fun.
Ten secret alien races they don't want you to know. Number 4, the Vril. They stand over 7 feet tall, skin black, glassy, like polished obsidian, no nose, no hair, eyes glow faintly, vertical pupils. They don't blink. Encounters are reported deep beneath fault lines and ancient ruins, Tibet, Antarctica, South America. They move in silence, sometimes walking, sometimes floating. They don't speak, they watch. Some victims report memory loss, emotional detachment, or complete behavioral shifts after contact. They use no ships, They don't take people. They embed themselves in positions of influence and erase the evidence. We don't know if they're from here, but we know this: they never left. Comment viral if you believe something ancient still lives beneath us.
If you like
10 alien races that live in secret beneath the earth. Number 8, the Ebens. The first base underground wasn't discovered, it was given. In the late 1960s, a program known as Project Serpo allegedly involved 12 personnel sent to the planet of a race called the Ebens. But when they returned, an agreement followed, and an outpost was quietly built beneath the deserts of South America. The Ebens are smaller than grays, gray-blue skin, large black eyes, more advanced, more patient. They don't take, they observe, they study, and they're still here. What they're building remains unknown, but some believe it's been active for decades. What do you think? Do you think they are real? Comment EBAN if you believe some visitors never left.
The interactions came as nighttime visitation from the small grey beings, which I can't stand. They had repeatedly taken me up and did help me to be able to communicate with the Paul White. I was not just a victim of abduction, I was taken, moved, procedures performed, which enabled me then to be able to have at least some kind of communication with the Paul White. Okay? Now, I was quite confused as to why they'd chosen me. The abduction experience happened to me in 1998 during the Leonid media shower. I had seen at that point almost exclusively small and grey. Then, when the time was right, they brought forward the Paul White, the man that came to see me, tell me about my daughter in advance of her birth, was what I would call a full extraterrestrial. And he was in excess of 8 feet tall. Where I met him, I was in Sydney. It must have been Christmas Eve with my family, and I had an experience. Standing on the beach, I see a fireball UFO coming down from the sky. Initially, it looks like a meteor, but then stops. And then in front of me, almost instantaneously, he's standing there. He greets me. He says, "We need to talk." He puts his hand lightly on my shoulder and asks me to walk with him. Around the park, there's a little road. He says, and his head was down, and he was in deep thought. Paul White says that he represents this group of beings. They were in an alliance together, these particular beings. I could sense that he was being asked if it was okay that I bring a child into this world. With my then girlfriend, said that there were some very dark times coming for our planet. We are in those dark times right now. They did show me that there was going to be a massive police presence on these beaches in the future. He was showing me almost the same place into the future, that what we were going to be facing was a kind of takeover of our planet. Well, our planet, the individuals that run it, it's a vast network that seems to lead back to some kind of deal that must have been done before my time here on this planet, perhaps originating in America. I think that we're supposed to be made aware of these beings and indeed their network they have out there, their trade network, whatever knowledge they have about this universe, that those who have decided to not honor that agreement, that they weren't going to be honest about their interaction with some of these beings, that there seems to be a sort of trust there, and that people like myself and indeed my daughter are here as observers. We are feeding information back to whoever else is watching along.
aliens look for people. Aliens look for people.
This a reptilian, they be on the news. They live among society next to me and you. This a Pleiadian, they look like Caucasians, but they was in on the Great Earth invasion. This an Arcturian, they skin complexion blue, but they is no different from me and neither you. Man, this a great, this a little evil being. Some of them cool, I'll know it when I see them. This an insect, no, sometimes you gotta watch them, cause if they get out of line, I gotta squash them. This a lion, look like lions, I ain't lying. They my dogs, they was next to me while fighting. This a draconian, they be invading planets. I'm tired of the evil ones, I motherfucking had it. Well, what am I, a descendant of Anunnaki? We straight from Sirius, so no nigga can stop me. We can't forget about them sexy ass mermaids. If I could swim, I would take their ass on the deep. I only fuck with some of the Andromedans, cause when they get together, ain't no fuck.
So now that we've covered the Nommo and the people who have witnessed them, let's get into some deities that could have been the Nommo. So first we have the god Oannes. So the type of being that Oannes was described as was repulsive or the repellent ones, which is pretty much the same description I saw when I was looking into the Dogon people and their knowledge of the Nommo. Some people also consider them to be demons, but he was part of the fishmen who the Babylonians said brought them civilization. Oannes was the first and most famous, and his alternate name was Ore, and he was thought to have come from a great egg. So, during the day, they said that he stayed on the surface amongst the people, and at night he had to go into the sea. He and the other similar beings, called Ennedotes, is the creator of the Babylonian civilization Berosso. Later, he would go on to become the fish god Dagon, who we're covering next. So Dagon is the god of the Philistines and was depicted as a half-man, half-fish. So the name Dagon is derived from dag, which means fish. And you can also notice that the name kind of sounds like Dogon. Some say that this depiction was really meant to represent fertility and the vivifying of the powers of nature and reproduction, but you can be the judge of that. And don't forget that when we did the original Nommo videos, which you can go back and check if you haven't watched yet, Babylon was one of the places that the Nommo were said to have visited. So next we have the god Glaucus, which I wanted to mention. So according to myth, he began his life as a fisherman and discovered by accident a magic herb that could bring back the fish he caught back to life, and decided to try eating it. So the herb ended up making him immortal, but also caused him to grow fish fins instead of arms and a fish tail instead of legs. So that forced him to have to dwell in the ocean for the rest of his life. Next we have one of my favorites, who is the Orisha Yemaya. So she is the great mother who rules over the sea and is sometimes depicted as a mermaid. Her colors are white and blue, and she is an Orisha venerated in Yoruba and around the world in Santeria, Hoodoo, and Voodoo. She likes seashells, fishnets, seahorses, anchors, anything basically related to the sea. And of course I can't mention Yemaya without mentioning Olokun, who is also an Orisha. So he is said to favor the descendants of the African people carried away in the transatlantic slave trade and is often depicted as a merman. He also signifies unfathomable wisdom, and some of the knowledge that he has is wisdom that people often spend their whole lives thinking about. He also governs material wealth, psychic abilities, dreaming, meditation, mental health, and water-based healing. So who else could have been a Nommo? Let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching.
The Yautja, also known as the Hish-Chu-Ten or just Hish, are insectoid beings resembling ants. They have been visiting our planet for thousands of years to hunt prehistoric animals. A movie called Alien vs. Predator was made about these creatures, showcasing their unique abilities and characteristics. I recommend watching the movie for more insights. Yautja are advanced extraterrestrial beings from the Andromeda Galaxy. They are bipedal humanoids with reptilian skin, elongated hair-like appendages resembling dreadlocks on their heads, and arthropod-like mandibles in place of a visible nose. Standing at an impressive height of 7 to 8 feet, they possess remarkable hunting skills. These intelligent beings breathe an atmosphere similar to Earth's and have surpassed human technological advancements. They utilize a combination of advanced technology, including active camouflage and energy weapons, alongside more traditional tools like blades, spears, and nets. The Yautja are known for their prowess in stalking and eliminating their prey, employing a mix of sophisticated tactics and primal hunting methods.
Lyran starseeds are higher dimensional souls who are originally a guardian extraterrestrial race that are blue-skinned feline hominids, or cat people, called the Anuhazi, similar to aliens in
What that is? No. Who are they?
in the movie Avatar. It is the Anuhazi who were seeded 950 billion years ago by the blue flame Elohai in the 12th dimension on planet Armentana in the Lyra star system, and are considered the original Christos founders race. The Great Sphinx in Egypt is a tribute to these Anuhazi Lyran starseeds, with the body of a lion and the head of a human. This is a literal connection to how humans have evolved out of the Lyran Anuhazi lineage. It is the primary gene code that was used to create the human form. The Lyran starseed Anuhazi are also affiliated with the lion people alien race called the Leonine when they came down or stepped down from their Anuhazi Christos template.
See, everything goes back to ether. So the Etherians, or the etheric beings, which are beings that do not manifest in any kind of flesh, they're ether. And they can take on many different forms. These are actually your oldest beings. They have no color, no skin tone, no anything like that. We're talking about ether here. We're talking about ether is essentially a burning sensation or a vibration, or the way that a being vibrates. So when you say that you're an Etherian, this means that you can change your vibration. You can vibrate to a level to where you're unseen and disappear, or you can slow down your vibration and become more dense and become more gross, to take on a persona or a certain image. So Etherian is a very interesting name, because Etherian can look like just about any type of extraterrestrial. So that's the highest, and that's the top. So from the Etherians, they did experiments, and more beings wanted to fall from the state of being Etherians, and they want to become more physical. So from the Etherians, you get what you would call melanated beings that look like me, you know, or melanated beings that may even look darker than me, that have kingly hair and things of that nature. That's the first level of it. And you go down, you have reptilian type of beings, and that's, you know, there's reptilian beings that look just like lizards. Some of them look like snakes. Some of them, you know, you have turtles, which are like amphibians. They're amphibian type of beings. These are beings that exist in water. And in Sirius, they have like over 30 different planets. In Sirius, it's a 3-sun constellation. Sirius star constellation has 3 different suns, and they have like 30-something planets. Sirius is the parent or the father star constellation that where most of the life that is here right now comes from. All of those 24 different alien races, most of them spend time in Sirius. Even the dolphins. The dolphins come from Sirius. The dolphins are just like humans, except they have an extra chromosome.
I'm sure she saw UFOs about 45 minutes after the mushrooms.
There are some rather special mushrooms I've heard in Wales, but it's not my game, I'm afraid. We are actually talking about different types here. There are at least 5 different types that live here on Earth, which is why David Grush steered away from extraterrestrial, meaning simply off Earth, and said non-human intelligences. Here, on Earth, inside Earth, under the ocean, under the ice. And they hide? Ask yourself. Look what happened in Bantur on the 26th of February 2016. Would you hide? And yes, they do show themselves to individuals. And they choose us. And I've covered this before. I don't know why. Maybe because we're pure of heart and pure of mind and don't have nefarious intention. But they do choose us.
New. Never before seen alien race.
So
Real alien
this is
abduction
something
caught
I've been
on camera.
hesitant to post, but this is a recording of when I believe I was abducted, and that's the alien right there, that pink, right there. That is the alien. So watch all the way through if you want to see it. This is real footage. This is a real alien, and I have another video where after I blacked out, so I blacked out and I was staring at the ground and saw my phone and didn't know what I was doing. Like, it was weird, and picked up my phone and I didn't know what was going on. And then I looked out the window and I saw all these little ships. So I'll post the ships in the next video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's pretty crazy. They look like a bunch of little golden tally marks, and there was like 20 of them, and they kept on disappearing and appearing. So you're not, what happens in the footage right here, I have no idea how to explain it, but it's like it did something to my phone, and it's like my phone cut, and then all of a sudden this thing was just hovering right in front of my face. Like you'll see it like cuts it, and then it like it's hovering right in my face, and you'll see this shit. It's crazy. If you're looking over there, you can kind of see right there, there's something behind the bush. See right here it cut. And then boom. There he is. And you can see it sends some kind of like energetic ball or something. It looks like it sends it at me. You'll see what I'm talking about. I know people are gonna think I'm crazy, but like, this really happened to me. This shit spooks the fuck out of me. Okay, so boom, you see that? Look at it.
I didn't see anything. I don't see.
And shortly after this, I had a loss of memory and a loss of time. Something I am hesitant of posting is this picture of my back. My girlfriend took a picture of my back, and my back looks like it's got some kind of huge implant, alien implant device in my back.
Sound like a hen.
So notice how it's getting closer and closer. And you can almost see his eyes, like the pink is just his head. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I was assuming at the time, or seeing. So if you look in the bush right there, you can see an alien figure. Like, just look in those bushes right there, you'll see a couple aliens that look like they have invisibility on. You see that? Notice my phone start freaking out? And this is the part that kind of freaks me out. Alright, so
10 alien races that live in secret beneath the earth. Number 3, the Antarians. Some say they came from Antares. Others claim they were always here, just deeper than we dared to dig. They're called the Antarians. 9 feet tall, yellow bronze skin, thin, elongated skulls, and eyes like liquid obsidian, reflective but unreadable. They operate under volcanic regions, mostly around the Pacific Ring of Fire. But they don't mind. They monitor. Their cities, if you can call them that, are built from pressure-reactive alloys. They grow their environments using magnetism and thought. They don't interact with governments, but governments are aware of them. One insider called them an ancient intelligence watching a young species burn itself out. Comment Antarian if you believe we were never alone underground.
I know we would. I don't think we're that wrong.
The reptilians seem to have like 3 toes instead of the normal 5 on their feet. And they seem very humanish in proportion, but they have larger than normal mouths, and they have a very snake-like or lizard appearance. Some of the aliens, and it's interesting that the aliens in Close Encounters of the Third Kind looked a lot like this, seem to appear like fetuses and are proportionally like fetuses that are running around like small children, have a higher degree of intelligence, and operate in a technical capacity, if you will.
Bill McDonald has no explanation for the variety of alien life he has cataloged, and his drawings stand as mute testament to the ongoing UFO mystery.
You're in contact with the Andromedans. Who exactly are the Andromedans?
They're a particular race that exists in the constellation of Andromeda. They're just one of thousands that exist out there. They are the particular races that I talk to and have had contact with and have given me and shared information with me are human. They're white-skinned to light blue-skinned, anywhere from 4 foot tall to 8 feet tall, and they are human in every way.
Now, where did they originate from?
According to fragmented government files, cryptic eyewitness accounts, and the whispered confessions of those who claim to have seen beyond the veil, our planet hosts 12 distinct alien species, each with motives as varied as their origins. The first, the Zinths, arrived millennia ago. Humanoid in form, but with iridescent skin that shifts like liquid mercury, they integrate seamlessly into human society. Scholars believe they influenced ancient Babylonian astronomy, subtly guiding our understanding of the stars. Their purpose? To study humanity's capacity for empathy, a trait their species allegedly lost eons ago. Then there are the Luminari, beings of pure energy who dwell in Earth's ionosphere. They communicate through auroras and electromagnetic pulses, their intentions inscrutable. Some researchers, like Dr. Alara Voss, a rogue astrophysicist turned Twitter conspiracy icon, argue they're cosmic archivists, preserving Earth's history in light code before our sun goes supernova. Most notorious are the Vorath, reptilian humanoids from a dying galaxy. Eyewitnesses describe their sulfur yellow eyes and triple-jointed limbs. Leaked documents suggest they broker underground deals with governments, trading advanced weaponry for rare earth minerals. Their disdain for humanity is palpable. They refer to us as Cathral, short-lived vermin. But the most enigmatic are the Oricora, shapeshifters who allegedly inspired myths of doppelgangers and skinwalkers. Fragments of their bioluminescent exoskeletons, found in the Andes and Siberia, contain DNA sequences incompatible with any known life form. Conspiracy forums buzz with claims that they infiltrate power structures, steering geopolitics toward an unknown end. And then, there's the 13th race. In 2022, a hiker in Norway's Hessdalen Valley stumbled upon a buried...
I think that was a great collection of videos. So if you like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll get back with you later. Have a good